What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. Man, the Steelers got me hot tonight. They sure do know how to mess up a good Sunday night. They lose 35-25 to the Packers in the game that felt like they had a very good shot at being able to win until they forgot how to play football in the final 15 minutes of the game. Tell me how there were three people trying to block Michael Parsons, and nobody could stop him in the fourth quarter. And then for this to be the most expensive defense in the National Football League, they sure do know how to make it easy for the opposing quarterback. Jordan Love completed 20 consecutive passes to end this game. I'm very close to being done with this doggone team, man. They always get me. They always get me early in the season. They start out hot, and then the second half of the season, when the schedule starts getting tough, they start falling apart. Is this going to be another one of those years? I thought things were going to be different with Aaron Rodgers, and it looks like the same story once again now the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. But we're going to dive into the Steelers' 35-25 loss to the Packers, along with a few other things around the league from today. The Atlanta Falcons got BTA'd by the Miami Dolphins. Raheem Morris, you're Gritz. If he isn't fired by tomorrow, what are the Falcons doing? The front runner for MVP right now is not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Drake May. It's not Matthew Stafford. I'm going to tell you guys who is the MVP frontrunner that nobody is talking about right now. Tyler Huntley, a.k.a. 954 Snoop, Dollar General Lamar, Great Value Lamar, $1.50 Lamar, whatever you want to call him. Tyler Huntley came through in a big way for the Ravens, and he saved their season with how he was hooping against the Chicago Bears. And while we're on the topic of the Chicago Bears, I got to get into Caleb Williams. This was supposed to be another, quote, generational talent that's been a generational disappointment. He can do all the Patrick Mahomes stuff, but has Anthony Richardson level accuracy. The Denver Broncos, they crushed the Cowboys. They look very scary right now. And the Cleveland Browns, come on, man. It's time to start Shedeur Sanders. What are we doing? Dillon Gabriel is not it. It's time to throw Shedeur Sanders out there to see what he can do. We'll dive into it all. But before we do, if you live, eat, breathe, and sleep football, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we drop new content. If you don't want your favorite team to fall apart in the fourth quarter next week like how the Steelers just did, rate JT Sports 5 stars, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. JT Sports is available. The links are down in the pinned comment and description down below. And let's dive into it. The Steelers lose 35-25 to the Green Bay Packers. This is their second straight loss. I'm trying to figure out how the Steelers have the most expensive defense in the NFL, but anytime they go up against a good quarterback, they can't get a stop to save their lives. What was the point of extending Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, trading for Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay? You got all these old-ass people on defense, and yet Jordan Love is completing 20 consecutive passes to end this doggone game. This is the third game this season that the Steelers have given up 30 points on defense. Mike Tomlin is supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. So why does the defense suck? Why is Teryl Austin still calling plays? He's been in D.C. for how many years? And I've yet one time to see Teryl Austin shut down the elite quarterback. At this point, just lock the Steelers in at 9-8 and the annual first-round playoff exit. Because that's how it's looking like this year. Yeah, you got Aaron Rodgers playing some good football, but when the brother has to throw bubble screens to his tight ends, you don't have a lot of weapons for him to throw the football to. DK Metcalf is a dickhead. You trade away George Pickens because he was a dickhead, and you replace him with another dickhead in DK Metcalf. That penalty that he had on 3rd and 2 that made it 3rd and long is what lost the Steelers the game. You cannot be making boneheaded decisions like that if you're a DK Metcalf. Learn how to control your emotions, doggone it. What are you doing putting your finger in the guy's face mask? It's the same thing with this team every doggone year. And I'm trying not to scream fire Mike Tomlin. I'm trying to define this season based off what the Steelers do in the playoffs, if they even get to the playoffs at this point, because I'm not very confident that they will. And as much as I would love to believe that Aaron Rodgers is the missing piece to the Steelers finally being able to end their playoff drought, I don't know. I really don't have a lot of confidence in this team. It's like it's Aaron Rodgers and just everybody else. If you took Aaron Rodgers off of the Steelers right now, this wouldn't be a winning football team. Literally, Aaron Rodgers is going back there freelancing, throwing the tight ends, playing in the slot. You got DK Metcalf with these stupid penalties, and you got a defense that can't stop a nosebleed. Jordan Love out there looked like he was throwing passes on air, and this was with a Packers offense that couldn't run the football. This is a run-first team, and they didn't need to run the football at all, because why would you run the football when you can just throw it all night long on one of the oldest defenses, one of the most expensive defenses in the NFL? I am getting so tired of putting up with this crap every single year. When are we going to get some change, man? When are we? It's the same thing every year at this club. This is supposed to be a team that is built for a deep playoff run. You don't trade for an aging vet and Jalen Ramsey, re-sign Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, sign the old Darius Slay if the expectation wasn't to compete for Lombardi. Now, the Steelers have a chance to trade for a receiver with the trade deadline being a week away. BTJ reportedly is on the trade block. A.J. Brown could be up for trade. The Steelers need a wide receiver, and they need one ASAP. Because when you're throwing bubble screens to Pat Freiermuth and I'm trying to think of his name. Well, Darnell Washington, you got a wide receiver problem. Who in their right mind is putting tight ends in the slot? Pat Freiermuth ain't no Travis Kelce. He ain't no Brock Bowers. Darnell Washington ain't either. So why is it that the Steelers keep finding ways to just hold back their offense? You're not going to go far running 13, 14 personnel. It's not 1975, 1986 anymore. It's 2025. And when I see Aaron Rodgers at 41 years old, who's about to retire, throwing the tight ends out of the slot, I'm trying to figure out why haven't the Steelers yet to complete a trade for a wide receiver? They need to go get one of Marcon, do your little magic, make something shake. Because right now, if the Steelers don't get another receiver in there, the season is about to come off the rails, and it's going to happen incredibly fast. You're not going to win a lot of games when you have tight ends lining up in the slot, catching bubble screens. Are you kidding me? Fix it. And how is it that the Steelers going into the fourth quarter, right? They had 3 people blocking Michael Parsons, and nobody could stop him from getting in the backfield. What's up with the offensive line? The offensive line is supposed to be the strength of this team, and yet Aaron Rodgers is back there running for his career, because if he just would have took one good hit from Michael Parsons tonight, it would have been all over. The Steelers are an Aaron Rodgers injury away from this season being a disaster. Aaron Rodgers has been the only good thing about Pittsburgh. He's been carrying this team on his 41-year-old back, and you shouldn't be asking a guy of this age to carry a team the way that Aaron Rodgers has. Aaron Rodgers has been a top 10 quarterback this year. Anybody that questioned how good Aaron Rodgers was entering this season, you got the answer. The man still has it. The man threw a beautiful bomb early in this game to Roman Wilson. He still has the ability to improvise. He still has the ability to get outside the pocket and extend plays. Now, he ain't running like how he used to. Grandpa Aaron, he ain't got the jets like how he did 10 years ago, but he still has enough to make a little something shake outside the pocket. But, I mean, come on. Can we get the brother some receiver help? He's throwing the DK Metcalf and tight ends in the slot. Come on, man. Help that brother out. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram at JT_, on X at JT__. TikTok, you can find us at JT__ as well. So you can stay up to date with everything that's going on with the JT Sports Podcast, along with updates and bonus content as well. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram and X. Links are down in the description and pinned comment section below. The Green Bay Packers deserve way more respect. For some reason, despite them having the best record in the NFC, they still aren't talked about as the team to beat coming out of this conference. Right now, the Packers, as streaky as a team as what they've been, they don't win with style points. A lot of their wins kind of are decided in close games against teams that you expect them to blow out, but a win is a win. And regardless of how ugly the Packers may win at times, you are what your record says you are. And what the Packers record currently shows right now is that they are the best team in the NFC. Style points don't really matter in the NFL. It's not college football. As long as you're walking out with the W, that's all that counts. But this was the Green Bay Packers' most impressive win of this season, because they beat what at least looks like a pretty good Steelers team. And the Steelers probably won't go that far in the playoffs, but they at least will win 9-10 games, so you beat a really quality opponent. And Jordan Love was in his absolute baggie tonight. He had 20 consecutive completions. It's like the dude was out there throwing passes on air. It's like they were just scrimmaging against nobody's out there of how easy he was making it look. He taught Aaron Rodgers a few things. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers made a few plays, but Jordan Love was just in the class of his own tonight. He was the best player on the field in this game. And Josh Jacobs, who has been the heart and soul of the Packers offense for the past 2 years, if you ask Jordan Love, he'll even tell you that the offense runs through Josh Jacobs. But tonight, the Steelers did a really good job of balling up the run, and the Packers had no choice but to ask Jordan Love to win the game for him. And the thing with Jordan Love up to this point in his career is he hasn't always been the most consistent quarterback. Well, this game, he had a coming out party. And one thing about Jordan Love that always fascinates me is how well he plays in the second half of the season. He always gets out to a slow start, but he gets better as the season progresses. And with what I saw tonight, we could be looking at somebody who ends up winning the MVP at the end of this season, because that's how he was playing tonight. He looked like the best quarterback in the NFL. He looked like a young Aaron Rodgers. Now, of course, he doesn't have the accuracy and the precision that Aaron Rodgers had in his prime, but there's a lot of stuff that Jordan Love does well that we grew up seeing Aaron Rodgers do for the many years that he was playing for the Green Bay Packers. And it had to feel really good being Jordan Love, knowing that you outplayed the guy that you succeeded. You know, at one point, you were the mentee. You were the Padawan. Aaron Rodgers was the master. And now after the night, you're the master. And Aaron Rodgers looks like the Padawan. You know, and Michael Parsons, this dude has just shot out of a cannon these last couple of weeks. At one point, I was asking myself, you know, did the Packers kind of make a mistake trading for Michael Parsons? Because I wasn't really hearing his name that much. But then last week, he has 3 sacks against the Arizona Cardinals. And then tonight, the Steelers did a really good job of holding him at bay into the fourth quarter when I guess the floodgates just broke loose. And that's when Michael Parsons just said, you know what, I'm just finna go give him my all. And it didn't matter if you put 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys, 6, 10, 11 guys on Michael Parsons. He was causing hell on that Steelers offensive line. Didn't matter how many guys they left in to block him. He was just getting past everybody. This dude's an absolute monster. And now that you finally have Michael Parsons going and you got Jordan Love going, hey, who right now is better than the Packers in the NFC? The Detroit Lions? With the amount of injuries they have on defense? I don't know about that. You know, who else? The Rams? Okay, yeah, I can see the Rams having a good case for being the team to beat over Green Bay, but I don't think that they have the kind of star power on the line of scrimmage that the Green Bay Packers do, though. The Packers have always had a very good offensive line, and they've always been really good up front, but what they were lacking is that superstar pass rusher. Now, you do have Rashawn Gary, who always has been pretty productive, but he's a very good player. Michael Parsons is an elite player. So you couple those two together, you have a really formidable 1-2 punch when it comes to your edge rusher position. And the Packers secondary has been really good as well. Now, they still could use a little bit more help at corner. I would love to see them trade for somebody at the trade deadline to help boost that cornerback position, but their corners made a lot of big plays in this game. There was a touchdown that Aaron Rodgers had to DK that one of the Packers defenders jumped 50 feet in the air to knock down. I was like, this dude got Super Saiyan jumps in his cleats or something like that. But I'm looking at the Packers right now, and I'm trying to figure out why isn't more people talking about the Packers making out of the NFC and making it to the Super Bowl, because right now, the Packers are still my Super Bowl pick. Before this season, my Super Bowl prediction was the Green Bay Packers versus the Baltimore Ravens. And right now, at least it looks like the Packers are going to at least make half my prediction come true. I don't know about the Baltimore Ravens. They won the day. They could get hot, and they could rattle off 6-7 wins, take control of the AFC North, and then all of a sudden, we end up seeing the Ravens going up against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship when we thought that their season was all and over when they started out 1-5. But it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. The Green Bay Packers tonight, though, they put on a damn clinic in the fourth quarter against Pittsburgh. They outscored the Steelers 21-6. Jordan Love just couldn't make any mistakes, and nobody could block Michael Parsons. And this was without Josh Jacobs having a good day on the ground. So imagine how scary this team can be when they can get both the pass and ground game going. It seems like they can never have both. They can never get their cake and eat it too. It's either Jordan Love plays well, you don't have the ground game. The ground game gets going, Jordan Love is inconsistent. This was one of the few performances that I've seen over the last couple of years where the Packers really were just able to put it all together, from Jordan Love playing well, the defense making big plays when needed. I can see the Packers winning the NFC this year, and I don't know why more people aren't giving the Packers enough respect for how good this team has played. The Atlanta Falcons got belt to ass from the Miami Dolphins today, 34-10. Tua with a swollen eye threw 4 touchdowns on this Falcons defense, and Raheem Morris specializes on the defense side of the football. So I'm trying to figure out, why was the defense as bad as what it was today? Oh, it's simple. Because Raheem Morris is not a good head coach. I never understood the Falcons' decision to hire Raheem Morris as their head coach. This is a guy that has a winning percentage of 39%. He's 32-50 as a head coach. Zach Robinson sucks as an offensive coordinator. There's nothing innovative about his elementary pistol offense. There's nothing innovative about what Zach Taylor brings or Zach Robinson brings as a play caller. And Raheem Morris is Gritz. He needs to be fired. The Atlanta Falcons are not going anywhere with Raheem Morris as the head coach. He's a good coordinator. He's not head coach material. And we already saw him flame out once when he was the head coach of the Buccaneers. And he's repeating the same mistakes that he made in Tampa that got him fired with the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are a way better team than what their record shows. You know, in the NFL, they say you are what your record says you are. But the Atlanta Falcons have one of the better teams in the NFC. And you wonder why this team is unable to play up to the level of talent that they have. It's due to the incompetent coaching. If the Atlanta Falcons fire Raheem Morris right now, they would have the most attractive job opening in the league. Because this is a team that is already built to win. And with a few more pieces added in free agency and through the draft next year, they could easily be a Super Bowl contender if Arthur Blank is just able to hire the right head coach. Arthur Blank is not a bad owner, at least when it comes to what you would think a bad owner would be. A bad owner is somebody like Woody Johnson with the New York Jets. Heavily involved, always has his hands in the cookie jar, isn't really committed to doing what's necessary for the Jets to win. Arthur Blank is the complete opposite. He's willing to pay whatever it costs to hire the right guys, to sign whoever the Falcons need and free agency. He doesn't meddle. When he hires the head coach and the GM, he doesn't tell them what to do, who to sign, who to draft. He lets the people that he hire do their jobs. Arthur Blank just, unfortunately, has been unable to find the right head coach to deliver him a Super Bowl. He's been unable to find the right head coach who can take advantage of the weakest division in the NFL. The NFC South is not good. The Falcons are a more talented team than the Carolina Panthers, but yet the Panthers have a better record than the Falcons. The Panthers destroyed the Falcons, put a 30-burger on them, held them to a donut when they played a few weeks ago, and it still shocks the hell out of me. Because there's no reason why a team with the talent that the Atlanta Falcons have are underperforming the way that they are. Raheem Morris should have been fired yesterday. He's not a good head coach. He's an easy guy to like, an easy guy to root for. But this is a production-based business. It's not about how good of a speech you can give at the podium, how much you can get guys in the locker room to buy into you. We always hear how the players love Raheem Morris. They play hard for him. They didn't play hard for him today against the Miami Dolphins. At least they didn't play hard enough. But the way they played today, they could have used me and you out there. I could have been playing corner. You could have been playing offensive tackle. One of us could have been the offensive coordinator. One of us could have been the defensive coordinator. We couldn't have been any worse than what the Atlanta Falcons were today. It's an atrocity how bad the Atlanta Falcons have been under Raheem Morris. Last year, they were in control of the NFC South. They were 6-3, and then Kirk Cousins threw the season away. He tried to play through an injury that he had no business playing through, and he sabotaged the team with his selfishness. So I gave Raheem Morris a pass for last season, and I picked the Atlanta Falcons to win this division because of the talent that they had, how well Terry Fontenot drafted. The talent isn't the issue. The coach is the issue. Terry Fontenot doesn't need to go. Terry Fontenot has held up his end of the bargain. He gave Raheem Morris a playoff caliber roster. And Raheem Morris can't find a way to maximize the talent on this team. Sure, Drake London didn't play. Michael Penix was out. But you have a backup quarterback that you gave $100 million to last offseason. And he looked atrocious still. There are so many things wrong with the Atlanta Falcons that all stems back to coaching. They need to just clean house, Fire everybody. Keep Jeff Ulbrich, though. Jeff Ulbrich, his defense has been pretty good this year. When your offense is just completely inept, like how the Falcons' offense was today against the Dolphins, the defense can only do so much. But to get embarrassed by a Miami Dolphins team that's on the brink of implosion, you gave the Dolphins another week of Mike McDaniel. This was supposed to be the final game that Mike McDaniel was coaching as the Dolphins head coach, and the Falcons, Raheem Morris, gave the brother another life. Mike McDaniel is like a cat. This brother just finds ways to save his job when he's about to lose it. He's like a cat with 9 lives. You can't get rid of him. Anytime he looks like he's about to get fired, he pulls a win out of the ass. And Raheem Morris, thanks to his incompetence as a head coach, still has allowed Mike McDaniel to remain employed. This was embarrassing. It doesn't matter how many guys you got out. Tua Tagovailoa had a black eye out there dotting up this defense. How is it that the Atlanta Falcons played so well against the Buffalo Bills and then they've just come back down to earth ever since? Was beating the Buffalo Bills the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl? Because that's what it seems like. Seems like Raheem Morris and the guys, they only cared about beating Josh Allen. And that was it. They just said, F the rest of the season. This is not a tough division. Like, Todd Bowles is a mid-coach. I still don't believe Todd Bowles is good enough to win the Buccaneers a Super Bowl. But this division has so many average to below average coaches in it that Todd Bowles looks a lot better than what he actually is. Because with how good his team is and with him just being at least an average coach, he knows how to win with the talent that he has on that squad. There's no reason why the Falcons shouldn't be tied for first place in the NFC South. Why is it that the Falcons are behind the Carolina Panthers and they have a way better team? Because Raheem Morris sucks. And I tried to get behind Raheem Morris. I tried to believe. I tried for once not to be a negative Nancy. But I should have listened to my guy, Mad Mike. Mad Mike was right about Raheem Morris. This dude is a car salesman. He's an oil salesman. He's a snake salesman. Whatever you want to use to describe Raheem Morris. This dude, he talks very good. Like, if you just listen to Raheem Morris talk, he can get you to believe. He can get you to be hopeful. He can get you to have high expectations. But once the season starts and the games get played on the field, all the good pep talk, the good pregame podium speeches from Raheem Morris, they go out the window because you start seeing the product on the field and you're like, damn, you talk a good game, but you can't coach a good game. This is the most embarrassing loss that the Falcons have had under Raheem Morris, and they've had some really bad losses under him. This is worse than when they got blown out by the Carolina Panthers a few weeks ago. I still remember when Bo Nix and the Broncos put up a 40-burger on Raheem Morris' defense last year, and he was a rookie. Raheem Morris is grits. Get this brother out of Atlanta right now. If Arthur Blank is truly committed to winning a Super Bowl before he dies, he wouldn't waste another breath he wouldn't waste another breath that he has left on this planet. Allow Raheem Morris to coach this team. Just clean house. The season for the Atlanta Falcons is over. There is no coming back when you lose to a quarterback with a black eye on a team that has been the worst in the NFL all season long. There's no coming back from this. It's wraps for the Atlanta Falcons. They won the Super Bowl a few weeks ago when they beat the Buffalo Bills. That was their Super Bowl. That's all they cared about. Because look at the results that you've seen from this team, that you've seen from Raheem Morris ever since that win. They got complacent. And what's comedy to me is when Raheem Morris first got hired by Atlanta, he assembled the third largest coaching staff in the NFL. And when he was asked, why is your coaching staff so damn big? He said, because we're going to win. We're going to have a bunch of success. When you have a bunch of success, other teams are going to want to hire your coaches off your staff. So we want to have the replacements in place. And you could say it's a little bit cocky, it's a little bit arrogant, but we're going to win. And then, remember, his explanation for drafting Michael Penix, we didn't fly all the way halfway across the country not to draft you, right? We have to draft you because we want to be in another position to draft this high again. Well, it looks like the Atlanta Falcons are going to be picking in the top 10 again, people. Because Raheem Morris just isn't a good coach. He talked a good game, but he couldn't back it up. And I still believe that Bill Belichick should have been a hire. His tenure at North Carolina doesn't really matter. College football is a lot different from the NFL. He's in a world that's just completely foreign to him. I would have rather saw Bill Belichick get one last opportunity as a head coach in the NFL, coaching the Atlanta Falcons, than see Raheem Morris get a second chance as a head coach. If there was anybody who deserved a second opportunity to be a head coach in this league, it was Bill Belichick. The greatest head coach in NFL history, an 8-time Super Bowl champion, was passed over for a guy that has a career winning percentage of 39% and is 32-50 as a head coach. You mean to tell me that Raheem Morris was more qualified for this Falcons job than an 8-time Super Bowl champion, the greatest head coach in NFL history? Bill Belichick's issue isn't coaching. It's his inability to draft and assemble a good roster. The roster is already in place. All Bill Belichick needs is to coach it up. If Bill Belichick was coaching his team up, I guarantee the Dolphins would have hung 34 points on a Bill Belichick coach defense, on a Bill Belichick coach team. And tell me otherwise. Please convince me otherwise. Raheem Morris is grits. This brother has to go. And I don't like coming on here saying guys need to get fired. And I like Raheem Morris as a person. But this is a production-based business. It's not about how much you like somebody. It's not about how well somebody can talk on the podium. It's about, can you win and can you get this Falcons team playing up to their potential? And Raheem Morris can't do any of those things. Get the hell out of Atlanta. If you don't want the starting quarterback for your favorite football team to play like Anthony Richardson, give JT Sports a 5-star review. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from, JT Sports is available. The links are down in the description and pinned comment below. When it comes to the discussion about who is the front runner for MVP this year, why is Jonathan Taylor not being brought up? Just because he's a running back doesn't mean that he can't have the same impact on his team's success as a quarterback does. Jonathan Taylor has been the best player in football on the team right now that currently has the best record in the NFL. As good as what Daniel Jones has played for the Indianapolis Colts, the Colts offense doesn't run through Daniel Jones. It runs through Jonathan Taylor. Second in carries, first in rushing yards, first in rushing touchdowns. He's been a monster. He's had multiple games this season where he has scored 3 touchdowns. He's been unstoppable. This is the best running back season that I've witnessed since Adrian Peterson won MVP back in 2012. Jonathan Taylor is having that kind of season. And if you are on the team that finishes with the best record in the league and you happen to be the best player on that team, you're entitled to MVP. You see, MVP has become a quarterback award, and we have forgotten the meaning of what the abbreviation, what the acronyms MVP truly mean. It means the most valuable player. You take Jonathan Taylor off the Indianapolis Colts, this is not the same team, and Daniel Jones wouldn't be having the success that he currently is having right now. It's easy to have this renaissance season that Daniel Jones has had when you don't have all of the burden placed on your shoulders of being asked to carry a team. When Daniel Jones has a good run game and a good supporting cast, he's a very effective quarterback. He took the Giants to the playoffs a few years ago. As easy as we forget that, Saquon Barkley was the best player on that team. Daniel Jones is not the best player on the Indianapolis Colts. It is Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones somehow is getting mentioned more in MVP discussions than what Jonathan Taylor is. And it doesn't sit right with me. If you watch the Indianapolis Colts play, every week Jonathan Taylor's breaking off these big 50, 60, 70, 80-yard touchdown runs. He's been a human highlight reel this year. Yeah, the resurrection arc, the redemption story of Daniel Jones is cool, but we're talking about MVP here, people. We're talking about the best player in football right now. That is Jonathan Taylor. He's been better than Saquon, better than Bijan Robinson. Look at the impact that Jonathan Taylor has had on the Colts this year. Yes, getting Daniel Jones does help that. But Jonathan Taylor is what makes this offense go. He's what makes this machine what it is. Jonathan Taylor is the front runner for NFL MVP right now. There is nobody who has been playing better football than what Jonathan Taylor has. Just because he's a running back doesn't mean that he hasn't been just as important to his team's success as a quarterback has. And sure, Patrick Mahomes is making a very good case to win another MVP. Same thing with Matthew Stafford. He looks like he could win his first MVP award. He's been playing some exceptional football, but the MVP has gone to the player that has been on the team with the best record. And Jonathan Taylor right now is on that team. So if we are basing MVP based off the criteria that this award has been given out to from the past couple of years, Jonathan Taylor is the leading candidate. Now, if the Colts end up falling apart during the second half of this season, then okay, Jonathan Taylor falls out the discussion. But a few years ago, when Tyreek Hill damn near eclipsed 2K yards, he also was in an MVP discussion. We got to go back to making the MVP award about who truly is the most impactful player on their team and not who is the best quarterback on the best team in the NFL. This is not an award that's quarterback driven. It should solely be based off performance regardless of position. And right now, nobody has been playing better football than Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what prompted the Ravens to sign Cooper Rush to be Lamar Jackson's backup, but that was one of the worst offseason additions that any team made this past offseason. Tyler Huntley saved the Ravens season today with how he played in their win over the Chicago Bears. Tyler Huntley should have a lifelong contract as the Ravens' backup quarterback. There's not a better backup that the Ravens can have for Lamar Jackson than Tyler Huntley. The dude is great value Lamar. Literally. Yeah, there's a slight drop-off between Lamar and Tyler Huntley. He's not as fast. He's definitely not the passer that Lamar Jackson is, but it helps that you can lose your best player and still be able to run the same offense without him. And with Tyler Huntley, the Ravens can still do a lot of the things that they can do with Lamar Jackson. And I've never understood the Ravens' decision not to bring him back. Yeah, he had a few off games, but the dude's a backup. And when it comes to backup quarterback play, you're not always going to get a lot of consistency on a week-to-week basis. But Tyler Huntley, if he was starting in place of Lamar a few weeks ago, they probably still aren't 2-5 like how they are right now. They probably end up being at 500. Cooper Rush had 3 interceptions. I never understood why the Ravens made the brass decision to go away from Tyler Huntley, knowing the offense that they run with Lamar and Tyler Huntley being able to maintain that style of offense. Maybe they just wanted somebody who they could trust a little bit more, throwing the football through the air. But, I mean, Snoop was getting it done. And Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler. I get it that the Pro Bowl, nobody really cares about it anymore. It's viewed more as a meme, more as a joke, because they just let anybody in the Pro Bowl now. But you just don't see backup quarterbacks make it to the Pro Bowl every day. If Tyler Huntley got to the Pro Bowl, it means that he played well enough in the eyes of Ravens fans, in the eyes of whoever else was watching Tyler Huntley play, who was a non-Ravens fan, that people were willing to give him a few votes to get him into the Pro Bowl games. And when I think about the Baltimore Ravens, I think about the South Florida connection that they have. A lot of the players on this Ravens team is from the South Florida area. Lamar Jackson is from Pompano. Tyler Huntley, Zay Flowers, they're from the same area as well. They just have a very good 954 vibe going on in that locker room, and they should keep that together. But Tyler Huntley just earned a lifetime contract as the Ravens' backup quarterback. For the rest of his career, the Ravens don't need to let him go. Even if he does have a few off games here and there, this is the best that you're going to get in terms of finding somebody that can still run your offense, and you don't see a huge drop-off with what you want to do offensively without Lamar Jackson. Let's not forget, when Lamar Jackson got injured a few years ago, Tyler Huntley saved the season then and got the Ravens to the playoffs, and he nearly won the Ravens a playoff game if it wasn't for the fumble that he had on the 1-yard line when he was trying to go over the top for the score. Snoop has always been a really solid backup. I never understood why the Ravens have been doing him the way that they have, bringing him back on the practice squad, then release him, then bringing him back. Like, this brother has stamped himself as the Ravens' permanent backup until he decides to hang it up. It felt good seeing Snoop out there doing this thing, out there running the ball like he's Lamar Light. Had a very good day throwing the ball against a very good Chicago Bears defense. Tyler Huntley outplayed Caleb Williams. If the Bears would have had Tyler Huntley today, they probably win this game. Right now, if you were to ask me who's the better quarterback between Caleb Williams and Tyler Huntley, I'm taking Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley is a better NFL quarterback than what Caleb Williams is right now. So it's beyond me why the Ravens felt the need to bring in Cooper Rush, draft Devin Leary to replace Snoop. They owe this brother an apology. Put some more respect on 954 Snoop, man. This dude was a baller at Utah. This dude was a baller when he was coming in a few years ago in place of Lamar when he got injured the first time. When you have somebody with Lamar Jackson's playing style, you always have to account for the injury factor. Even though injuries are something that you can't really predict, they happen at random, it helps knowing that if something does happen to Lamar, you got a guy that can come in and still pick up where Lamar Jackson left off. And if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm telling the Ravens, I'm telling John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta, do not let Tyler Huntley leave Baltimore ever again. This dude is a Baltimore legend. Even though like he's not a great player or anything like that, he's a great backup. And in the NFL, it's not all about being a star player. It's not all about being an elite player. We tend to overlook the role players. And role players are just as important as the star players on the team. Because not every team has a full 22-team starting lineup full of superstars. You need guys who can come in, do a role that is asked, and do it at a very high level. And Tyler Huntley plays backup quarterback for the Ravens better than anybody else that they can find. And anywhere else that Tyler Huntley has played quarterback, he hasn't really been that good. But when he was playing with the Miami Dolphins last year, he had a few okay performances. So it's not like this dude is a bum. It's not like he's a scrub. So it's beyond me why the Ravens felt like they had to find a replacement for Tyler Huntley, but he stamped himself as the Ravens' permanent backup quarterback after this win over the Chicago Bears. If I was building a team right now, and you ask me who would I rather have, Caleb Williams or Tyler Huntley, I'd rather have Snoop. If you ever get bored during the middle of the day and you're trying to talk some football, join the JT Sports Discord server, man. Link is down in the description and pinned comment below. We're trying to talk some ball with you, man. We want to hear from you. Go ahead and join the JT Sports Discord server. All the links are in the description and pinned comment section below. Caleb Williams can do all the Patrick Mahomes shit, but has Anthony Richardson accuracy. I saw this dude late in the fourth quarter do a spin-a-rooney and throw an absolute dot to DJ Moore along the right sideline. And I'm saying you can break all these sacks. You're a great athlete. You can make all these great all-platform throws, all these throws that can make people's jaw drop down to the ground, but you can't finish the play. Caleb Williams leaves so many plays on the field. It's very frustrating to watch. If the Bears had a way better quarterback, they would easily be one of the best teams in the NFC. You have one of the best receiving corps in the league, a very good offensive line, a solid defense, and one of the best offensive minds in the game, and Ben Johnson, and yet Caleb Williams still can't put it all together. And for a guy that had this generational label, he, like Trevor Lawrence, like Kyler Murray, is a generational disappointment. He does too much freelancing. He doesn't take what the defense gives him. He tries to make every play a lot more complicated than what it has to be. Sometimes you have to keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes it helps just taking the 3-yard check down, the 5-yard out. Why can't this brother get the ball to DJ Moore? DJ Moore is one of the best yak receivers in the league, but the Bears are content with using DJ Moore as a gadget player. Why is this? Because Caleb Williams, for some reason, anytime he sees DJ Moore wide open, he just can't give him the football. Maybe the FBI needs to launch an investigation into Caleb Williams because maybe he secretly is taking DJ Moore's unders. Because every time DJ Moore's wide open, Caleb Williams cannot give him an accurate pass at all. This dude is a phenomenal athlete. I definitely understand why he gets the Patrick Mahomes comparisons. Because a lot of the things that Patrick Mahomes can do as far as like breaking out of sacks, being a very crafty runner, being able to make all of these impossible throws look possible. You know, Caleb Williams just leaves a lot on the table as far as his ability to finish these big plays. It's like he can extend plays. He can pick up yards with his legs. There's just so much potential that Caleb Williams has. But unfortunately, his inconsistency throwing the football has hindered him, and it's hindered the Chicago Bears. And how much longer is Ben Johnson going to continue to remain patient with Caleb Williams until he just throws his hands up and says, let's throw in Tyson Bagent? Tyson Bagent is a more accurate quarterback than what Caleb Williams is. He's not the athlete that Caleb is. He's not as dynamic as what Caleb is either. But at least he can execute the offense. At least you know you can ask Tyson Bagent to do a 3-step drop back and the ball's coming out. Caleb Williams, he holds on to the ball too damn long. He takes unnecessary sacks. He has these really bad lapses in judgment when he just doesn't have a good understanding of situational football. If it's third down, get the ball out quick. Why are you holding on to the ball long? If you know that we're down multiple scores and you know that we need to score fast, get the ball out quick. You're trying to do too much. Like Caleb Williams is trying to be Superman when he doesn't have to be Superman every damn play. Every play doesn't need to involve you doing a spinner Rooney out of 3-4 sacks and throwing a 50-60-yard bomb downfield. Just keep it simple. And Ben Johnson's offense is all about simplicity. It's all about just playing in rhythm, playing on time, getting the ball out quick to your receivers as soon as you get through your progression. As soon as you take that final third drop back, the ball needs to come out. Caleb Williams, though, he just plays too much hero ball. He has this hero ball syndrome that Ben Johnson, for some reason, just can't coach out of him. And until Caleb Williams learns to be better playing within the structure of this offense, he's going to continue to struggle. His accuracy, his streakiness throwing the football comes down to him not being able to play well on time. His footwork's off. He has solid footwork, but it's off because he just tries to do way too damn much. Ben Johnson needs to simplify this offense a lot more for Caleb Williams. He needs to basically rebuild Caleb Williams from the ground up. This is kind of the same issue that Lincoln Riley had with Caleb Williams. You're a great player. We know you're elite when it comes to freelancing, but the majority of plays don't need for you to freelance. Just run the damn offense. Simple. We're running 10-yard slants. By the time you get to your third drop back, throw the damn football. Stop holding on to it. It's starting 5. Get the ball out. The ball needs to come out. Like if I was Ben Johnson, this is what I would do with Caleb Williams. When we're at practice, I have a timer. I'm saying, Caleb, you got 2.8 seconds. By the time we get to 2.8 seconds, if the ball isn't out, you got to give me 100 burpees. That's what Ben Johnson has to start doing with Caleb Williams. Every time he holds on to the ball too long, he has to do 100 burpees. That's the only way that you're going to coach these habits out of Caleb Williams. Screaming at somebody is only going to do so much. It's only so much that somebody can learn when you're just yelling at them and cussing them out and telling them they're suck. You got to start making Caleb Williams do burpees, do 150 push-ups, run laps after practice. And Ben Johnson does have Caleb Williams staying after practice. You know, I was listening to the game today, and they were saying, like, a few players said how nice his car was. Ben Johnson has been forcing them to put a little bit more time in the film room after practice, so he has to stay a little bit longer at the facilities. It's like, I don't think film is really the issue with Caleb Williams necessarily. I just think that the brother just overcomplicates this too much because he's so talented that he just relies so much on his talent and he just forgets the fundamentals of the game. It's the little things, and we take the little things for granted. The little things add up. And the little things turn to big things. And when you can't just do the foundational things right, then how can you do the advanced things right? And that's why when you see Caleb Williams doing these spin-a-roonies like he's prime Booker T and WWF out of 4 or 5 sacks, and he ends up having a wide open receiver downfield after he makes an incredible play, he just can't finish it because he just doesn't have the fundamentals down packed. And Ben Johnson has to get Caleb Williams back to the fundamentals. The Denver Broncos are a scary football team right now. They got an offense that can hang 30 on you in their sleep. They got a defense that can frustrate you, stopping the run, getting after your quarterback. They got a shutdown secondary. The Denver Broncos and what's supposed to be a wide open NFL this year, why can't we see them in the Super Bowl? I asked the same question about the Los Angeles Chargers. Why can't we see the Chargers in the Super Bowl? Why can't the Chargers beat Kansas City? Well, I'm asking that question about the Denver Broncos now. Because unlike the LA Chargers, the Broncos, not only are they playing just as good, if not better football than the Chargers, but they're more healthier than what the Chargers are. And football is a game of attrition. And right now, with how healthy the Broncos are, it's easy for them to just roll through the rest of their schedule because there's not a single team that the Broncos play this year that they don't have the ability to get right with. They can beat Kansas City. They could beat the Ravens. They could beat Buffalo. They could beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They already have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. They can beat the LA Rams. They can beat the Green Bay Packers. The Broncos can beat anybody. Sean Payton, most of you guys hate his guts, but this is one of the best offensive minds in the history of the NFL. When he retires, he will be in the Hall of Fame. So you got A-tier coaching. You got an A-tier offense that has a great offensive line. Bo Nix is playing good football. He was a little bit shaky to start this season, but he's now started to settle in and he started to ascend. You're now starting to see Bo Nix take that next step in his development. His rookie season, he wasn't that good against good teams. He wasn't consistent on a week-to-week basis. Now you're starting to see way more consistency out of Bo Nix. Now his wide receiving core does have a bunch of household names outside of Cortland Sutton. Most of you guys can't name another receiver on this Broncos team without using ChatGPT or Google. But they do have a good core of guys who they can rotate in and out, who can be productive. You saw Pat Bryant catch a touchdown earlier in this game. I feel he can be a really good receiver for Denver if given more opportunities. Troy Franklin has started to come on. He has started to figure out that if he can actually hold on to the football, he can make plays. Drops is the only thing that has played Troy Franklin. And with how good J.K. Dobbins has been, along with the rookie running back that they drafted out of UCF, I mean, they're stacked everywhere on offense. They don't got a lot of household names, but they got a bunch of guys who can come in and be productive. And their defense, with the amount of star power that they have at edge rusher, is just downright outrageous. It should be illegal to be as deep as what the Broncos are as far as what their pass rush goes and how much depth they have at that area on the defensive line. Zach Allen, the most underrated interior defensive lineman in the league. Unless you're just a diehard football junkie or you're a Denver Broncos fan, you don't know how good Zach Allen is. Their linebackers are really good. Dre Greenlaw, when he's healthy, we know he's one of the best linebackers in the league. Talanoa Hufanga is a former All-Pro. The Broncos have as talented as a team as anybody, and a good enough team that they could go the distance in the playoffs. Kansas City, I said this before the season, that this wasn't going to be the walk in the park AFC West that they've been used to winning for nearly a decade. The Chiefs have won the AFC West every year since my freshman year of high school. I was 16 years old at that time, or 14 years old. I don't even remember. But all I know is I'm about to be 23 next year, and the Chiefs still are winning the AFC West. But this year, things could be a lot different, because now there's not a gap between Kansas City and the Broncos anymore. Now you can kind of say that the Broncos are on the same tier as what the Kansas City Chiefs are now in terms of talent. If anything, maybe the Broncos have exceeded the Chiefs as far as talent goes. And when they end up playing this year, we could very well see the Broncos mop the floor with the Chiefs, because the Chiefs just don't have enough weaponry on defense to slow down what the Broncos have offensively. The Broncos can beat you so many different ways when they actually choose to take shots downfield, and Bo Nix can actually connect on the deep ball, and you couple that in with what they can do on the ground with J.K. Dobbins, with Bo Nix and his legs. They have so many different ways that they can beat you that they're incredibly hard to defend. They can beat you in a shootout. They can beat you in a low-scoring defensive slugfest. We've seen the Broncos win about all styles of games this season. They've done it all. Shootouts, defensive slugfest. That's what you look for in a championship team. Championship teams have the ability to win a variety of different ways, a variety of different styles. I could see the Denver Broncos knocking off Kansas City in the AFC Championship this year. I don't believe that the Colts are going to be playing Kansas City for the right to make it to the Super Bowl in the end. Listen, the Daniel Jones redemption arc has been fun to watch, but the Broncos have a better team than Denver. I trust their coaching staff a lot more than Denver, and I think that Bo Nix is playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the AFC right now. So I think right now the Broncos are the scariest football team in the National Football League at the moment. Dillon Gabriel is the worst starting quarterback in the NFL, and they always say how it's a passing league and it's never been easier than what it is right now to throw the football in today's NFL with how soft the defenses are. You can't hit anybody. You can't really put your hands on any of these receivers. If you just breathe on the receiver, a flag gets thrown your way. So for Dillon Gabriel to be averaging 4.9 yards per pass is an obvious sign that he's not a starting quarterback. He is a backup quarterback that the Browns are trying to force to be a franchise QB, and he just doesn't have the ability to be that. But they do have a guy on their bench who they have refused to give the fair share of opportunities that Dillon Gabriel has had to prove that he has what it takes to be a starting quarterback in this league, and that is Shedeur Sanders. Look, whether you like Shedeur or if you hate Shedeur, you got to admit that it's time for Shedeur Sanders to get an opportunity to start for the Browns, because Myles Garrett had 5 sacks against the Patriots today, and the Browns wasted that performance by allowing Dillon Gabriel to stink it up. 4.9 yards per pass, trying to throw deep bombs downfield, even though he has a noodle arm. You are wasting not just Myles Garrett, but you're wasting away the rest of this season by trying to force Dillon Gabriel to be something that he's not. He's never going to be a franchise quarterback. Dillon Gabriel, at his best, is a low-end starting quarterback, a high-level backup. He's going to take care of the football. He's not going to put the football in harm's way, but he is not somebody that is going to elevate the Browns to even being a playoff team, let alone a Super Bowl contender, which is the goal for every franchise. And it amazes me how Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are Ivy League guys, but they've gone about this quarterback situation so stupidly. Because me and you all know, with what we saw out of Shedeur Sanders at Colorado, that he was a better quarterback prospect coming out of this past year's draft than Dillon Gabriel. Better athlete, stronger arm, and he did way more with less compared to Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel played on some of the best talent-loaded rosters in college football. Oklahoma had a loaded team when he played. Oregon had arguably one of the best teams in college football during his final season there. Shedeur carried Colorado with just Travis Hunter, a bunch of good receivers, and the piss-poor offensive line. So when you have a guy that was able to turn around 2 programs that he went to in Colorado and Jackson State, in a 4-year span, he more than proved that he has what it takes to be a starting quarterback in this league. And most scouts, most executives, most college coaches view Shedeur as a solid starting quarterback. They view him as like a Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott kind of QB, where he may not be good enough to be a top 5 quarterback in the league, but in the right situation, he can be good enough to give you stability at the quarterback position, something that the Browns haven't had since they shipped away the last, probably the only franchise quarterback that they had in Baker Mayfield. And all throughout OTAs and training camp, when you saw that quarterback tracker, Shedeur Sanders had the higher completion percentage, the better touchdown interception ratio than Dillon Gabriel, but yet Dillon Gabriel got the nod due to politics. And right now, you're starting to see the results of what politicking gets you. And that's you being one of the worst teams in the NFL and your star player crashing out because he just had a historical 5-sack game that got wasted away because Dillon Gabriel just sucks. It's time for the Browns to admit that they got it wrong with Dillon Gabriel and to start Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders should be starting right now. Dillon Gabriel, we've seen enough to know that he doesn't have it. And most young quarterbacks, you want to give them at least a season or two to show what they can do. We don't need to see any more out of Dillon Gabriel. We don't need to see a full season of Dillon Gabriel starting for the Browns to know that he doesn't have what it takes to lead this franchise to any success. All Dillon Gabriel is doing is further putting the Browns in a bigger hole than what they already are and in position to get the first overall pick in next year's draft. And unless the Browns intend on drafting another quarterback, which I doubt they want to do, then it would be in their best interest to start Shedeur Sanders and stop playing these dumbass politicking games trying to act like Dillon Gabriel is better than Shedeur Sanders when we all saw at quarterback, Shedeur was the far better quarterback. He's the far more talented quarterback of the two. Dillon Gabriel tried to throw a deep bomb to Isaiah Bond in the second half of this Patriots game, and he had to take like 5 steps up outside the pocket to even muster up enough arm strength to get the ball downfield to him. And of course, it ended up not just being a bad throw, but an easy interception for the Patriots. The Patriots were literally laughing at the Browns for continuing to have Dillon Gabriel out there. Myles Garrett crashed out on the sidelines because he knows that the Browns are wasting time by having Dillon Gabriel out there when he knows, and everybody in that locker room knows, that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on this doggone team. But Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry want to continue to play these politics, and they refuse to admit that they're wrong because of their egos blinding them from the fact that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on this team and he should be starting. Jimmy Haslam, his family was at the game last week and they all had Shedeur Sanders jerseys on. So Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, all of his kids know, everybody in his family knows that Shedeur Sanders is the guy, but yet the guys that he's paying the big dollars to, the GM and the head coach, Ivy League grads, by the way, are just too dumb to realize that they have to answer to their quarterback problem sitting on the bench holding a clipboard for a guy that should be holding the clipboard for Shedeur, when Shedeur should be the one out there getting the opportunity to show what he can do to get meaningful reps in the game. And all the Browns want to do is limit his practice reps, limit his opportunities to just being the scout team quarterback. And you're just letting a future franchise quarterback just rot away on the bench while you continue to lose games for the sake of trying to justify your idiotic selection of a guy that never should have gotten drafted as high as what he did. Shedeur fell in the 5th round because he wanted to fall in the 5th round, because he wanted to pick his spot, and he's in the best situation to start. Everybody keeps saying the Browns need to trade Shedeur Sanders. There's only one or two teams that right now need a quarterback. That being the Raiders and the Jets. The Jets are more than situated with Justin Fields for this season. The Raiders probably won't trade for a quarterback until this offseason. So right now, Shedeur Sanders' best opportunity to start is with Cleveland. With just how much of a shithole this organization has been, it's probably the easiest path that Shedeur will ever have to being a quarterback in this league. It's just he has to get the head coach and the GM to get over their egos, to get over their idiocracy, and to realize that Dillon Gabriel just doesn't have it. When you have a guy that's 32nd in QBR, is averaging 4.9 yards per pass, you don't have a starting caliber quarterback. If all Dillon Gabriel is going to do is throw 3 and 5 yard checkdowns all game, you're better off putting Shedeur out on the field, because at least Shedeur is going to push the football downfield. And I guarantee you, if Shedeur was starting right now, then this team will look a lot better than what it does, because the Browns don't have a bad roster. If the Browns started Shedeur, they instantly would be a force to be reckoned with. They could instantly be a playoff caliber football team, although they're out of the playoffs now with them wasting time with Dillon Gabriel. But Shedeur, that's how good this team would be. They would be the equivalent to a playoff or a French playoff team, because all the Browns are lacking is quarterback play. Now, the offensive line isn't that great, but Dillon Gabriel doesn't do the offensive line any favors with him being a sub-6 foot quarterback. Shedeur's just a better quarterback in all aspects than what Dillon Gabriel is, which is why it's time for the Browns to stop playing these politicking games and to put the best quarterback out there. Start Shedeur Sanders.